All right. So how are you feeling today?
Better.
Better. Okay. So today's plan is to look at explore section of the UX checklist. But before we do that, let's review a little bit about what you've done so far. So do you want to talk me through the personas that you did, and just very in a short,
Sure.
maybe 2 minutes or so, just talk me through it. I'm going to go over the documents that you provided.
Do I need to share my screen?
No, it's fine. I'm looking at it on my end.
Okay, so user personas. I have taken these from LinkedIn profile of the people who are in UX group in our UX designer group. So then the number one is Vicky M, who she lives in California. She is a UX professional, and she has quite much experience about UX and UI. And she is really motivated in her field, and she produces fresh concepts for websites and mobile devices and other devices. And she is efficient in digital visual language. She has user experience user experience, and then visual design experience and conceptual design experience. She enjoys. She also knows how to analyze interfaces. Working with, she's experienced in working with stakeholders, and she understands the business strategy, and she create optimal user experiences. So she started her journey as a graphic designer, and then she took step ahead as a visual designer, then lead graphic designer, senior product designer, and template designer manager, visual UI designer. Now she is senior product UI and UX designer.
Okay. So what you've done so far, I'll give you some feedback. So you've created a persona document for each one of these people. Was there, here's the question to you, was there, does each one of these fit one of your archetypes or groupings that you were originally talking to me about?
Yes, they are. Like one of them is a student. One of them has worked in entirely different sector, and now he is doing something in UX and UI. So
Okay.
there is a one person called Cole. Like I can't pronounce the second name. It's really
Sure.
Yeah, Qui Ponja Hexa Acu Marys. I don't know. Sorry.
Okay.
So, so she lives in Washington. She's a student, and right now, currently, she is student, and she started her journey as an interpreter from English to Italian language. She was working as a translator. Then she volunteered somewhere, and she was mentoring, and she was an activist in human rights. So now she is doing her course from Career Foundry UX designer, and she is going to uh, take further entry in UX design. UX design, and
Okay.
so there is one more person, Kapil Kaul. He lives in New York, and he is currently working, and profession is innovation consultant. So he started his journey from associate consultant, and then operation executive, deputy manager, lead consultant in organizational change management, and then lead consultant as adoption and change management. Now he's doing, he's owning actually, he's working as an innovation consultant in his own firm, and where he actually work in creating product and experiences with the help of design and behavioral science. So actually now he is doing much of the UI and UX work for various customers.
Okay, and so and the last one is a
Yeah,
freelancer person.
she was an educator, but now he was in education field. She was a teacher. She has started his journey as her journey as a teacher. Now she has done a course certification from General Assembly, and now she is
Mhm.
a UX consultant freelancer.
Let me see if I know her.
Sorry.
Let me see if I know her. I might have taught her.
Okay.
Um,
Jennifer L. Smith.
uh,
I think she has done this year only in 2018, I guess. 17 or 18.
okay, so she's done the course after I taught. So I taught late last year, but she's probably
Mhm.
done the next one. Okay. So okay, so are we saying just I want to so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do quite a lot of sketching on my iPad, and I'm going to share my sketches with you on the cloud drive, which is here. I'll just paste you the link to that so that you can see in real time those updates. And so going forward, you will hear me say a lot. Just sort of check it on the cloud drive. What I've also set up is that Trello board where we're going to manage this course as well for as a like a structure for the course. Okay,
Mhm,
so it's like I've used the structure from the UX checklist. Okay,
mhm,
notionally, and by the way, this is how we also organize courses at General Assembly using Trello board. You will see that Trello board is very good for organizing things because you can put like little cards of things, okay, and then you can shift them around and say, well, actually that doesn't belong there. Well, let's move that there, move this up and down, right? So that's a great way to actually organize sort of information, okay. And so what I'm going to and combined with that Trello board, we're going to use this cloud drive, so that you can get some pictures and documents in there. So I'm going to pop this document that you created into the cloud drive as well, so that so that it's all there nicely stored for us. So
So I can access anytime.
yeah, exactly. So what I wanted to ask you was that um, what are the what are the groupings that you see exist in these personas? How are you thinking of those groupings?
Grouping as in like
So if we say one is let's say freelancer, one is the junior slash student,
mhm,
or maybe there's a difference between a student and a junior. Okay, somebody who's just started and somebody who hasn't really had any career. And then one is more of a professional experienced, one is a career switcher. Okay, so how are you thinking of these groupings?
no idea.
Because let's see, if we think about people in terms of their progress, we spoke a little bit about the lifetime sort of career development and learning. um, um, so if we think in terms of student, right, student, junior person, mid-level, right, we've got senior, professional. So you've got senior, got professionals. Maybe those belong somewhere in a sort of career switcher type category. And then you've got sort of leaders
who are already in the field, right?
Yeah, and maybe beyond leaders, there are like coaches and teachers, you know, coaches slash trainers slash teachers. Okay. So if we go through your personas, the first one is like as effectively they would fall under the senior person, senior product UX designer. Okay.
Yeah.
The second one is a student. Okay.
Yeah.
Third one is maybe kind of a
Career switcher. Hello? 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 Hello?
hello. Yeah, we back
Hi,
on. Okay.
something
Sorry,
happened.
I think I lost connection for a second.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, we say like Vicky M is the senior. Okay. Vicky M is a senior. Shinponja is student. Let's just call him Ponja. It's easier. And then you've got Kapil. Kapil is working, so but he's maybe like mid-level. Kapil. And you've got freelancer who's really Jennifer is very much junior. Okay. So those are our kind of groupings to focus on. So there's like on my side, and you got these career switching professionals who really end up becoming students to then really go into a junior role. They're willing to do that. Maybe they can jump into some sort of senior, but that's not easily going to happen. Okay, so I just sketched out this diagram here. So I'm going to share this on the cloud drive. Okay, but I think what we need to be cognizant of is that we got to start with one of these types of people, and like we need to focus on those who are really looking to formally learn UX. So this kind of the student/junior type. Okay, those are the people that we're really focusing on for now. Okay.
So we have to create personas for only student or junior level people, right?
So those are the ones to focus on for now. But the other ones is important to just keep in mind, okay? Because going forward, we'll also deal with them and cater to them. But you know, we can't boil the ocean straight away. You know, so it's like one step at a time.
So how many personas can we make at a time?
Well, so it's because in a project, like in a sort of commercial project, like big commercial project, you would have, you know, you'd be spending, maybe you could spend 3-4 weeks easily just researching even one persona, right? Because you would need to interview and look into profiles of, just for example, student. You'd need to analyze 10-20 profiles and really, in perfect world, speak to those people as well, you know, about their
How do we approach them? If like
you approach them like this. You find them and you go up to them and say, "Hi, my name is Shefali. Can I speak to you about your UX career, you know, and UX learning and UX design aspirations," right? But either that, or you arrange interviews with them through something like Facebook group, right? You have to, actually, this is a big thing for you to remember and understand and know, which is that UX design is very much driven by interactions with people. Okay, not just that you are designing for people and designing interactions for people, but you're also having to interact with people in order to know what interactions to design for them. Okay, now that's especially the case if you're a researcher. Now some designers don't really like dealing with people so much, so they end up becoming designers who use other people's research that's been previously done, and then design with that research in mind. But you know, you really need to be social to some extent, right? And be able to speak to people that you've never met before, and really listen to what they have to say, especially when it's to do with the project that you're working on. Okay, because otherwise you won't know who you're designing for, right? And what they really need. And then what that leads to is a lot of just designing based on what you think they might need, but ends up being the wrong thing. Yeah. So that's important to remember.
do we have to paste their original pictures?
Well, I mean, it's, you know, it's probably nice. It's always nicer to do that because it's, you know, reminds you of the real person. You don't have to, but remember now, the documents that you create, they need to be as pretty and nice, you know, as you possibly can get them. You know, and because this is a user-centered design and human-centered design process, you know, we're looking at people. It's always nice to have people pictures because you know, it just reminds us that these are people that we're designing for, not, you know, documents.
Actually, my question is, if like people are not aware of putting their pictures on the persona profile, is this like something worrisome, or we are allowed to put anyone pictures?
We're just, I mean, this is why there are websites out there that are to do with just like general pictures of people, right? There's even one called, I think, User Photos, and Random User. Okay, So you can just basically pick one of the generic photos from there.
So from there, I can pick any picture, so that's not a problem.
You can pick any picture, and that just generally represents that that person. I don't like to pick the ones that like, because that's too fake. But it looks much better than it looks. There's ones that look much more natural. Okay.
My question is not that. My question is, are we allowed to? Okay, so if somebody is putting my picture as a user persona and I'm not aware of it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Well, you're not allowed to use it in public without their permission. We could use it if we were just to use this for internal purposes, just for sharing between you and I. We can do that. But because you're going to be creating your own portfolio and going to put this online, so just use one of the random users' pictures. That will do.
I'll just check. Okay.
Yeah. So that's that. Now, it's important, like I say, for us to agree that we're going to focus in on one of these people, because otherwise we won't have time. It's going to go like all over the place. Yeah. And we want to just focus in on basically someone who is a lot more junior, even career switchers, okay, professionals who don't know anything about UX necessarily. And the students who are looking for a lot more kind of practical knowledge about UX and practical process from the industry, because what they seem to be learning at universities is something that's a lot more theoretical, and then they don't really do practical projects and so on. In this process that you and I are doing, this is a lot more practical, and you are actually doing research in the real world. That Facebook group is real people, and as you saw, I'm planning to organize regular meetups, so you're going to actually meet some of those people from the Facebook group. So those are real people. Yeah. And there's nothing imaginary about this. In fact, if anything, we're looking to make this as real as possible. So more direct conversations with those people, more we can maybe jump on a call with them, so we can, in one of the sessions going forward, we can actually, you do some user testing with them, and also previous to this, if we had time, we could get them on these calls, right, and interview them about how they're learning, why they're in the group, how they're getting their knowledge, etc. Okay. So the realer it is, the better, because it's you're basing things on real world scenarios. Okay. So now, in terms of user stories, have you had any sort of thoughts or thinking about that?
So about user stories, what I know until now is user stories is a representation of user needs and requirements in more detailed form. And there is a syntax for writing user stories, so that's called Gherkin syntax. And user stories also represent the acceptance criteria for those stories. So it's just a representation of user needs and requirements.
So give me an example of a user story then.
Okay. I want to build a website where I can teach students about UX, so that they can get their certification and make their portfolio.
Okay, so that's more of an agile user story, right?
Yeah.
But here we're talking about user stories in terms of user experience design. Okay,
I've read about user stories in UX, and I was able to understand, like, in UX, user story is something what user knows, what UX designer knows, and what the business knows.
Mhm.
When we combine all the three together, we get something useful. That's some website or software.
Mhm.
So it's actually the involvement of designers, user, and the business.
Yeah, but I mean, just simply looking at people's needs, right? So remember from the UX checklist, I'm going to share my screen so you can see. So from user checklist, there was the user stories part here from the
Mm-hmm.
plan, okay? And when you open that, there is an article about how to tell the user story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I scroll down, so there's an element here of making sure you know who the users are. This is why
Yeah.
you looked at who the users are.
Mm-hmm.
In perfect world, we'd observe their use, right? Which we're kind of doing through the Facebook group,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And all the LinkedIn profiles and all that kind of stuff. And then user stories is more like a narrative on the human level. So this thing here, as an industrial access to maintenance information and parts supply for her facility's entire inventory. Okay, or Jack owns a small landscaping business. He needs to be able to order replacement parts and have access to resources that will help him safely and properly service his equipment on his own. Now, one of the things here that's very important is that these stories don't have a prescribed solution. It just talks about what he needs or she needs. Okay, rather than saying he needs replacement parts from a garage or something like that, because that's already kind of solutionizing. Yeah. And we don't want to solutionize. We want to just understand what the human needs. Okay. And so for us, as user story would be something like um, um, let's say if you're focusing on this student, okay, or a career switcher professional, is basically a user story is that and I'm going to actually write this out here so we have it as a formal thing, okay, for as a write-up. So student UX UX student story, okay. And then, so if I take an example of we had a Ponja, right? Instead of call it Ponja because it's simpler. So Ponja wants to learn practical UX design through online channels. Actually, let's practical UX design. Let's say you can say through online channels, okay? Because you see how I was already like solutionizing there, right? So wants to learn practical UX design in a flexible way around, is Punjab a male or a female?
She's a female.
Okay. Around her current studies, which she is doing in her university. Okay, she is interested in knowing how UX design works in real world, what it really is, and wants to create and develop her portfolio with practical help of a real world UX design expert. Yeah.
So in UX, the user story is in the form of paragraph.
Yes, yes, and it's non-prescriptive, okay, in terms of solutions.
Sorry, non what?
Non-prescriptive. So here I'm not saying that this solution that Punja is gonna access is a website, app. I'm not even saying it's digital, anything like that. I'm just saying what Punja wants.
Okay.
Okay. So that's our story for us to really kind of focus in on. Okay. Now, off the back of this, we are free to ideate and explore. Okay, based on non-prescriptive story. Huh? For other ones, they might have some other requirements, but for now, let's just focus in on that, because that's a good enough what's the word I'm looking for, scope, right? Because it's broad enough for us to by the way, I'm popping all this into that cloud drive, so you have that as a accessible thing for you. So that's it, broad enough for us to riff on in the next bit, but narrow enough for us not to go into this kind of like designing a job search portal and all this kind of stuff. Okay, maybe that's like down the line. Okay, so so then now we're on to the user flows. Okay, and with the user flows, what we want to start doing, it's important to go through. Last time we mentioned this a little bit, okay, but it was too early, right, to jump into that. Now we can talk a little bit more practically around what is the flow through the system. How does Punja get access to this system, and what's the kind of the most natural way for her to go through that?
Okay.
Now, I want to shut up here a little bit and let you speak around what you're thinking, because you know it's your project, so I want to see how you're thinking. So tell me.
So now I need to tell you about user flow in respect of Ponja, right?
Yes, exactly. So off the back of that story that I just written, she wants to learn practical UX design in a flexible way around her current studies, which she's doing in her university. And she's interested in knowing how UX design works in real world, what it really is, and wants to create and develop her portfolio with practical help of a real world UX design expert. Now, bear in mind also that effectively we're prototyping that as you and I are doing this process, right? So think about also yourself. You're essentially that kind of person, right? Your university is your son, right?
So we have a user flow. We have to write in steps. Is it?
Yeah. So it's like now it's like a step by step. You know, what's the most practical, you know, process for the person to onboard themselves through this, and then, you know, continue learning.
Okay.
And there's no right or wrong answers, so we can together riff on this. This is an interactive session, so you know, you can talk, and you know, I can feed back to you, ask me questions, and so on.
Okay. Ponja is learning user experience about a user experience design, and she is a student and she wants to learn now. She has the theoretical knowledge of UX experience design, and now she wants to gain some practical experience. For that, The steps can be she can take help from the online medium, from the social media. She can register herself in a Facebook group and ask people. She can ask people to coach her,
Mm-hmm.
or she can take help from some friends, or friends of her friends who are already in the industry, and who can coach her with some practical and live projects.
Uh-huh. So, I mean, the idea here is that, you know, she'll most likely discover, well, she knows that she wants this, so she might join like a Facebook group, okay,
Mhm.
and ask people about coaching, or we are actually asking her, do you want to learn more about UX design? Now, if she says yes, then we can let her know that there is this platform that we're building and that we've designed,
Mhm.
okay? So then, okay, so that's good. And then the next step, what happens after that?
And after that, she joined someone. She joined someone who is already who has started working on some project, and now she has started learning in steps from the beginning, like how the practical world in UX is.
Okay,
So
so now in terms of this journey, right, we need to be specific as to what solution we're thinking about. Because if we're just saying, you know, like Punja can just go off to, let's say, some sort of a cafe in Shoreditch and theoretically bump into a UX designer there who's willing to coach her and teach her, and then they can just, you know, say, oh, let's meet here over a coffee and do everything here. We won't even use, you know, laptops or anything like that. We'll just sketch everything with pencils, right? However, she's like, well, I was actually in this cafe just today. I actually live up in North London, or, you know, outside, and I can't make it because I'm studying wherever in Leeds, okay? But I want to work with you, or, you know, I just want, I'm a millennial. I don't really, you know, meet people face to face. You know, I don't even go to really my university lectures. You know, I prefer if they just kind of streamed it, you know, on my Netflix. So
so
she
what
will need to go somehow into a digital platform which you are designing. Yeah, so that's the focus. Yeah.
Okay, so we have some plan. We Okay, we have a online tutorial where we teach people and give practical coach people, teach and coach people who wants to be UX, or who are already in UX and want some practical experience to make their portfolio. So
Mm-hmm.
Ponja, so we can help you in that, and so we take live sessions. We have some blogs in there, and we have some. We also the people who join us, they can also meet up in some cafe anytime they want. So we have a live sessions every week for 1 hour, and then we give you assignments to do, and we will also involve you in practical work which we are doing right now for some organization.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so for that you have to register us. Yeah, you can pay as you go, or you can one time you can pay us one time for one course, and then you can get one a free material user. You can use our material online material for 1 year, and you can access these videos for lifetime. But you can um, Yeah, but you want another course, you have to pay for it.
Okay, so as you're speaking, I'm drawing out this kind of user journey, right? And I'm distilling from what you're saying, so that it's more geared towards the platform. It's interesting also to because as we're doing this, there's new ideas, right, that crop up, and this is the nature of these projects, right? Because some things are just either too boring, secondly, everyone's doing them. Like thirdly, they just lack that kind of user experience, something nicer. So I very much like this idea of, there is a monthly meetup that goes along with the course, right? So you can come along to the meetup and just chat with other people and so on. Maybe find someone else to do a project with. But the focus point, the kind of the center point should be this platform that you're designing. Yeah. So people do come in from Facebook group and can go back to the Facebook group to share their work, but the platform is the place where they really learn through. So learn the kind of the static lessons, or pre-recorded lessons, and have these kind of real life real-time session.
Got it. Hello? 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 Sorry, I think it's my connection.
I think it's my connection. Every sort of 15-20 minutes, for some reason, it goes off for like a few seconds. So just bear that in mind. Sorry, it's I think I need to upgrade my modem or something. So what I was saying is that, let's say she finds the platform that you're designing through Facebook group, which is great. And then she goes to the platform, which is the focus point where the teaching and coaching happens. Okay. So she discovers there's a community, there's local meetups as well, which is great. But it's like, then she wants to actually start learning through this platform. What does she do then?
So we have various courses like we have various courses from for UX beginners, human centered interaction design, interaction design, and the mid-level UX courses, then the user story courses, the user persona courses, and we have more advanced level courses in UX specifically, and where we have coaches who can give you live training on weekly basis. We have pre-recorded videos. If you want to take you can use that also. And okay, yeah. And we have some transcript, we have their transcripts also. If you not understand anything, you can use the transcripts also. So we have monthly blogs, weekly blogs published in our website, where we talk about user UX interface and design, where any of the member can jump in and write any blog, useful blog.
Okay. But what does she do after she discovers and she's like, like, this is great, this is for me? What does she then do? She's discovered the courses, she knows this platform is for her, she's interested, she likes the intro to UX design course. What then?
So there are two process. She'll get the information from our website. Okay, these are the we provide information about our courses on the website with their price and the duration. So she can opt for any of the courses, and either, so there are two ways now. Either she can contact us before logging in and ask if she wants, she can ask for more information through email or by calling us, or she can directly log in and sign up and pay and start her course.
Okay.
So there, actually, ideally, there are three ways. Either through email, she can get all the information, and then she can sign up. She can call us, or she will request a call from. She can request a call from us, so that we'll call her and give her information about the course and what else information she wanted. And then she can do payment on phone, or after the call she can sign up and do the payment, and she can start doing the course.
Okay. And so what happens after she starts the course?
So if she wants live sessions, so once a week new lessons will be uploaded in the on the website, where she can not upload it, sorry, there will be a face-to-face live session where she can talk to her instructor, or there might be few more students who are in the group. So there will be one common platform for example, a group of 8 to 10 people, and there are live sessions, question and answer session. She can take she can get her confusions and questions clear in the very video after the lesson is complete, or there are live videos which are pre-recorded. She can use those videos, and if she has some questions, she can just write her questions on in the question answer section of that particular tutorial.
Okay.
And once her coaching will be complete, once her sessions will be training will be completed, she will get to work on some live project, where she'll get a chance to build her portfolio, to gain more knowledge and practical experience about UX and UI design. And she'll get assignments and feedback on her performance, and more guidance on how to do stuff and things.
Okay. So that sets us up. Now you'll see I'm going to upload this as a flow, okay, into the folder, relevant folder. Where does this belong?
Mm-hmm.
As a folder. Which folder does this belong in? It belongs in the plan folder. Okay, so I'm going to upload this in the plan. So you will see how this, so we had that story, remember, in the plan.
Yeah.
And so now we are having the user flow, basically all around that story. So
user story, we have to write about every persona, or just one persona we write user story about?
So every system has a number of target audience, right? Number of groups of target audience, number of segments of people. Okay, and so So it means that like each one of those people will have a different need. Yes. So we're just now focusing on Punja. You can imagine that you can imagine that somebody who is looking to coach through the system is looking for different reasons to be on there, right? And it's interested in a different workflow. Yeah. But let's now just cater to the student who's looking to start a new course.
So are we going to provide these courses outside UK also, or just within the UK? Because these
it doesn't
people
matter. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything.
Okay.
Yeah. That does not change our what we're doing here. So I've just added that as I sketched it. Basically, what you talked to me about, I've just refined it in as little words as possible, and sketched it out as a flow. Okay, so that's an example of a user flow. Now you can take that flow and rework it yourself. Okay, so I'm actually going to add this now in our as a task for you in the Trello board. Okay, so rework the user flow in a neater way. Okay, that's your task there. And then in terms of user stories, that's fine. Now, red roots, we won't be able to cover that, but it's not so important. The important thing is what we're looking to design. And now we can move into ideation, right, as to how this can be sketched out. So you can start sketching to that flow, right? So what are the potential interfaces to for Punja to actually get through all of that? Okay. So today I want to spend with you more or less the next hour sketching through these things as much as possible. That's why I asked you to have a pen and pencil and paper to sketch. Okay?
Yeah.
So if you want to take maybe a few minutes break before we go into the next session, or you can start now. I'm just going to make a quick coffee.
Sure.
So yeah.
So I have just one question. When we make the sketches, do we have to keep in mind the the resolution of the device?
The answer is yes and no. The idea is to make something that is like a responsive design, so that it works both on mobile, tablet, and desktop. Okay, so the simpler you keep it, the better it is, right? I find it usually we work mobile first, okay, because that's the smallest viewport, okay. But don't get yourself at this point. Don't get yourself constrained so much. Don't. That's like almost, when we spoke about in terms of user stories, they shouldn't be prescriptive as to what is this platform, right? Is it a web app? Is it a Apple Watch thing, or is it just delivered in a pub somewhere, right? So it wasn't prescriptive on the kind of domain, okay? These kind of sketches and ideations shouldn't be prescriptive to a device, okay? But just bear in mind that the modern generations, it's like if your phone is like more than a meter away from you at any point in time, you start getting sort of like, oh, what's going on? Have I lost my phone? Can I live my life anymore, right? So this thing is usually the target device to cater to. Having said that, that's good maybe for lessons, okay? Because if I'm just like watching something, oh, okay, I'm watching la la. But then when we get into collaboration, right, then it's a little bit harder to collaborate over is this, right? You sort of have to be on a little bit more of a device that is like a desktop or a laptop, right? But you also might see that people might be, let's say, listening to the stream on this device, but they might want to log on to the platform with another device. So there could be a multi-device usage too. Okay, and this is quite frequent because people watch Netflix while they're using their mobiles, or maybe on the mobile they're browsing through what there is while they're watching something on the TV, right? So this is all possible, and perhaps it's like even the best thing. So you can stream a lesson, right? You can stream a lesson to the TV, and then as you are watching it on TV, you can actually do an assignment or do something on the platform while that's running. Okay, so all these things are possible. A little bit trickier to build and design for, but interesting, right? Interesting because that's the nature of how people interact with things. So right now I'm using my iPad, right? And I'm speaking to you on Google Hangouts, and then I'm using also another thing and another thing and another thing, right? So using Trello, I'm using Google Hangouts. Years ago, right? I said to him, like,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. You were
Yeah.
lost. Okay.
So one of the things that I was told by a senior UX designer or head of UX design at LBI, which is one of the biggest agencies here in UK for UX, and I said to him, like, look, Simon, tell me something that is really important. Like, tell me one thing that's really, really important for UX design, that I should know, because, you're the master, what's the most important thing? And he said, focus on the unique selling point first. Okay. What is the unique thing that we're offering? Okay. And put that like at the heart of the experience. So he said at Google, the unique thing was there's just one bar, you type something in and then you press enter and that's it. Okay. So it's like you go on the Google homepage and there's just that bar and you type in and you press enter. That's the unique selling point, and that's the focus. That's the heart of the experience. So the question here is, what would heart of the experience? Yeah. Not an easy thing to think about, but let's say if we're talking about sign up is usually to put your email address, choose a password. It's kind of boring. It's been around for 30 years. Nobody kind of goes, oh, look at this wonderful sign up thing here, right? Nobody cares, right? But if there is some sort of thing around, there's a live session going on, live coaching session, that may be the focus point, right? And let's say if you're designing or sketching up a page for UX Coach platform, then a homepage, let's say, then what is the most focused point there, right, about that? Because you said, she finds out that there is a community, for example. So it could be like pictures of people meeting up, all that kind of stuff. It could be some sort of feed from Facebook group, that's, or some sort of feed from Facebook members of the group, that, something like that. you know, that could be like a really neat design of the course materials, right? That is really gamified in some sense, you know, that looks like a progress through UX world, okay, etc. That kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm giving you these are like free ideas. Okay, I'm thinking for you, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go make a coffee. So it gives you 5 minutes, you know, to just sit there and sketch for yourself. And if you can, uh, like take a picture with your phone, perhaps. Are you on your phone or you're on your laptop, right?
Laptop.
Okay, so if you can take a picture with your phone, okay, at some point, and then also share that picture, you know, with me. Actually, you should be able to be. I'm going to make this whole folder so that you can edit it. So you should be able to upload pictures in those folders from that web address that I sent you. But if you can share that picture with me so that I can take a look, okay? What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to sketch out some things as well on my end, okay? As I'm making coffee, okay? And then what we're going to do is you're going to pitch to me what you're thinking, and I'm going to pitch to you what I'm thinking, okay?
Okay.
All right. See you in 7 minutes, okay?
No worries. Yeah. Bye.
So let me know if you are ready, or if you want some more time.
Sorry, I'm just working on the second screen, and as soon as I'll finish, I'll let you know.
Okay. By the way, you don't have to do it screen by screen. You can just sort of, for now, just sketch out any ideas that come to mind. And as we speak to each other, then we can go through another session of this, okay?
Oh, okay. I got it. So where can I upload it?
Try and see if you can upload it to that Drive folder that I shared you, and that link that's in the Google Hangouts here.
It's the Nextcloud.
Yeah, but you should be able to upload to that.
Okay,
if you can't, then just send it to me and I'll upload it.
Oh yes, I can upload it. Okay.
Can you? Yeah, so you can upload file. Yeah. Okay, so have you uploaded your ideas? You're on mute. So my ones are going into the Explore folder just now, so they should be there any moment. You're on mute at the moment, so I can't hear you.
Sorry. Actually, I uploaded it in Drive, but it's not reloading. So I'll just do it.
Should give it some time. Probably needs a little bit of time to just upload. So all my ideas have uploaded so far. Any luck?
Just give it 2 minutes, huh? It's
Sure. Okay, so I'm just while while you're uploading that, are you able to listen to me present my ideas?
Yeah. Okay. I uploaded it, but it's not okay. I uploaded it just randomly. Can you see it after number 10? Analyze. I'll try to move it. Which folder we have to move it to?
In Explore.
Okay.
It doesn't matter whichever folder you upload to. I'll also put it in the right place.
So it's just after number 10.
Okay.
Yeah. And Nitin is saying hi to you.
All right. Hi, Nitin. Okay, got it. It's there. It's gonna. So okay. Do you want to? So let me pitch mine first, and then from that you can see how I do it. Okay, and then you can talk through yours. Okay. So like basically, there's this process in teaching. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's called I do, we do, you do. Okay. So I'm gonna do something, and then you we can do it together. Okay. But we'll skip that bit. So it's just like we're gonna do I do, you do. Okay. So I'm gonna do it first, and then you do it, similar to how I'm doing it. Okay. So I moved your thing to the what's your how are you gonna call this idea that you sketched up? What's a notional name for it? Before and after sign up.
Yeah, I've given the name the before and after sign up, and there's one more. It's just that the lecture video. So lecture.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go. Actually, let me share my screen so that it's very clear what I'm looking at. Okay. So so watch my little sort of pitch here. Okay. So the first thing that I sketched up here. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a simple thing. So I didn't focus on any screens. I just focused on like sort of components or features, right, that I think are different, okay, to what I would have seen anywhere else in the sort of UX world. Okay. So one of these things is idea of UX quotes. Okay. So the idea is for us to corroborate a bunch of UX related quotes that then can display on the website, on the platform, but also potentially can be delivered as a standalone web app. Okay, so you basically just tap a quote and refreshes for a new quote. It's a bit of like inspiration and general kind of learning through quotes. The other thing to do is UX podcast, which would be published also to like iTunes and wherever we can publish a podcast, but can also be accessible on the platform itself as a main core and focus point. So maybe it goes on the platform first and then everywhere else. So there's a couple of ideas there. The next one is this around UX resources. So like tools for UX. So like maybe this UX checklist, Sketch, free trial download, InVision Studio. Then the other thing was this music to wireframe to, because when people are doing lots of wireframing and stuff, they like to have music to wireframe to that isn't too heavy, just kind of something quite relaxing. So the idea is to create a bit of a playlist, ever expanding playlist of music to wireframing to. There is something to do. This is not even, I didn't sketch here or anything, but just the idea of showing previous projects from people that have gone through UX Coach. Also showing a list of cool people, mostly probably graduates, that have made it through. I just kind of really, this is like just a brain fart. Then this thing is, I built this thing in the past, which I called UX Barf, and I tried to build these kind of sentences automatically with an algorithm. And it just kind of spews out these funny statements. But it could be like a little entertainment piece. I can show you how that looks. It's just it's very funny. Sort of like pseudo AI. Then the next thing is questions answered in video format. So, for example, what is UX? And then there is a short video about that. The other thing was about signing and logging in with LinkedIn with just one click. So you click one button and you already, then you're straight away signed up and logged in. And then the other thing was regular, even daily, but certainly weekly Facebook live streams for the paying members, right? So you get daily short tip on UX, and also weekly Ask Me Anything session, which can then be split up into answers on video, okay, afterwards. So those are my kind of ideas. And I'm thinking of the platform as a broader thing, not just the website, but also along with the Facebook group, okay? So do you want to pitch yours now? You can present yours.
Yeah. So it's all about, sketching is all about just producing your features, not the sketches, like not the wireframes.
No, so sketches, I mean, they can be at the different levels of fidelity, and that word fidelity is quite weird, but used a lot in design. So you can have a very, like you saw some of my sketches, just literally even just words written down, like projects, but some of them a little bit more in detail. And then those sketches can be very sort of precise as well, okay? So like, for example, your sketches are a lot more in detail than what I sketched, because you went as far as sketching like bits of navigation and so on, and I just focused in on the little bits of like interfaces, so yeah. But yeah. So go on. I'm looking at your sketch. So tell me.
So it's a landing page where user enter after. So the name of our site is going to be UX Coach, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So the landing page for our website or our tutorial site is this. So when user user lands onto this page, he'll be able to see few videos, like 1 minute or 2 minute videos of what we do and how are we going to provide benefit to them.
Mm-hmm.
And there might we can also give some space to ads, advertisements also. And then below there are detailed lists of our courses on upcoming courses with their duration and their payment. When on the bottom of the at the bottom of the before sign up screen, there's a button stating that why not take 7 days trial. So it's like we are providing trial, we are asking them to take trial for our few videos where they can just sign up for 7 days without paying any money. They can use few videos. They'll not get access to every video, but they'll get access to few useful videos and explore the website. And if we are interested, they can buy our course. So this is the feature I would love to suggest. And after sign up, a user can see his what we say, okay, the list of various UI and UX design courses. And then whatever he has viewed recently, the courses he has viewed recently, he can see that list of that also. And yeah, so and he can also check his profile, like my profile, my courses. And there's a space for question and answer. If he has some questions regarding any course or anything, he can ask them. And yeah, and if he has already enrolled for any course, then yeah, he'll be able to see the lecture videos. It might be live videos or it might be recorded videos based on his subscription, what he has opted for. And he'll be able to see the topics of the course, like the stages of the course and topics. And below that, he'll be able to ask any questions, and he'll get answers for that in comment section.
Okay. And what's this the last one here, that's UX beginner lecture 1?
So okay, so after he has enrolled for courses, the course has begun, and he's going to view his lecture here. So what will happen? He'll be able to see on the top, like, this is lecture 1, this is the course name, and course name, and the lecture, which lecture is it, 1, 2, or 3, and the course videos, course topic, and actually the syllabus of the course. And below that, he can do the question answers.
Okay.
About
all right, so that's fine. Thanks for presenting that. So now let's do another 5-minute ideation around something completely sort of as different to what we ideated around. Okay, so I'm not going to do what I did before, and you're not going to do what you did before. So, and feel free also to not have to do the page, just focusing on one feature or something. Okay, and do it somehow differently. Maybe both the style of sketch as well as how you're thinking and how you're presenting it. Okay, just to get some variety. Okay, and what I'm going to focus on is maybe do a little bit of a more neater flow or something like that. Okay, but let's say 5 minutes for that. Okay, so I'm going to use my assistant Siri here to help me. Hey Siri, set a timer for 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes and counting.
The reason why we do short snippets like this is because there's no time to think. You just kind of do it in a flow, okay?
Okay.
All right, so iPad saying it's 5 minutes is up.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to export this image sketch with my gridded view. So you can see when I'm sketching on this iPad, there is a various sketch apps have a option for maybe I might not export it that way. Let's see. Should do. So various sketch apps in iPad have a gridded paper, so that when you're sketching on that, you actually can just follow the grid, right? And you have like neater sketches. But then at the end, you don't have to export them. Just now I'm exporting it with the grid, but you don't have to export it with the grid, so that it's it looks like you've really written straight lines without the grid, but actually you've used the grid. Okay, so actually what I'm going to do is, yeah, go on.
Sorry.
Yeah, say what?
I'm saying, are you using any application on the on the
I'm
iPad?
using an
software?
app called Sketches. I'm using an app called Sketches,
Sketch.
which is free. Yeah. So Sketches is called. Free on the App Store. Very, very nice app overall. But so please take a screenshot and upload yours as well on the in the Explore folder. In the Explore folder, please.
Yeah. So I've uploaded it with the name product features. It's very small. Yeah. Can you see something?
Yeah, it's uploading. Okay, so you can go first now to pitch your idea.
Okay, so what I did here, I have drawn the features of the product, like what we can have as features. Okay, so we can offer them the videos, UX videos, and in this we can have them like short videos for 5 to 7 minutes, which they can watch without subscription or signing up. And then we can also provide them the transcripts of the videos we are uploading, or their classroom sessions. We can provide them transcripts of that classroom session. We can add a feature with blogs or articles in our website or in a tutorial. And there are peer meetups where the schedule of the meeting will be uploaded, and like if anyone wants to join in, this is the location. We can meet here at particular point of time. Then the courses are classified as basic, intermediate, advanced courses, and learn UX tools also. So they can also the students can also learn the tools of UX, the wireframing also. So the success stories, and the my profile section, where a student, if logged in or signed up, he can check his details and his courses he has opted for, his favorite courses, and the wish list, these things. And there another feature, like if he doesn't want to sign up with his name and details, he can sign up with Google or Facebook.
Okay.
And then again, free content and short videos of 5 minutes. And then there is another thing which came to mind, UX wiki. We can also add a section called Wikipedia or UX wiki, where we can write only about UX from beginning, from basics. So if any point of time any student is feeling like, okay, I don't know this thing, let's check UX wiki. So he'll get information here, and we'll keep on refreshing it with time. We can keep on uploading things with time.
Okay. Good stuff. Different ideas, different focus this time. I like it. So I'll show you. So one of the so this is the one that is exported with the grid. Okay, so this shows you the grid. Okay, so it's much easier, obviously, to sketch when you've got a gridded paper. That's why I like it quite a lot. Okay, but then what I can do from the iPad app is also export the same thing without the grid, so it looks like I've really neatly drawn it. Okay, but actually, like, I used the graded paper and then exported it with this background. So it's kind of artistic to look at. It looks pretty, on the export, right? So what I focused on here is to show kind of like a different view of the course. Okay, so it's more like a journey from top to bottom. Now I don't really like the way I've sketched out this just sort of play lesson 1, lesson 2. For the constraint of time, I didn't think through what would actually be the content there. But the idea is to design this up as a sort of a journey through layers. Now, as I'm looking at this, what comes to mind is, like, for example, if we were using the UX checklist as a guide, right? So there could be like slide 1 or first part of this journey is the first part of the research with 3 steps to it, and the second part is plan with a different color and so different little world. And then as we go through it just kind of basically maps out that UX checklist as a journey. Okay, now as they click in, they would see the lesson page, on which the core thing would be to view the video. And once they've viewed it, once they think they've gathered, they've mastered this part, they can just mark it as done, in which case it would show as green and completed. The other thing around this is that potentially they wouldn't be able to view any of the lessons down the stream until they actually mark these previous lessons as done. So the idea of asking a question would be there, so that they can just ask a question and send it in, and then someone would pick that up and answer it in a video. So that's kind of what I ideated, but a little bit more around some sort of a page concept.
One question: Is this necessary to restrict them to access all the videos if they have already paid for it?
It's not necessary to restrict them, but the idea is that sometimes it's to avoid overwhelm, right, and choice paralysis, and to prevent them from sort of jumping steps. You want them to go through the process and have that feeling of completion, right? So this UI would need to be worked up a lot more to show, like, if you've completed all these 3, then this would kind of be like a more kind of like happy world, and then this is more of a kind of dark and explored areas, right? So that's a kind of a thing that could be explored as a visual thing.
But one question, but it might be a little frustrating for users, like if they want to see what's in the next lesson and I can't see it. It might be a little frustrating for me, that why can't I see this?
So you would be able to see it. You would be able. Well, let's say.
Hello?
There's pros. I'm thinking. So there's pros and cons to this, right? You would be able to see some information as to what is in the lesson, but you wouldn't necessarily be able to go through that lesson unless you've completed the previous lessons. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, I wouldn't want you to be spending time learning Sketch and stuff right now, when there's lots of work for you to actually learn how to sketch by hand and use your mind, use your brain to think and ideate, because once you've got great ideas up front here, then it's really easy to work them up as neat wireframes and so on. But if you don't have good ideas up front, then wireframing is just pain. It's just pure pain, because you don't really know what you're doing. You haven't spent that time thinking. Yeah. And it's very, very important in design to think through things in terms of, can we do them? Is it cool? Because if it's not cool under Sketch, it's not going to be cool in the wireframe, So Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Can I ask one more question
Sure. Yeah.
regarding? So my question is, the BAs write user stories, and sometimes they do wireframe also.
Mhm.
Do UX designers follow those user stories and those wireframes, or they just work on their own?
So the world of work is very all over the place. Okay, so some companies give BAs the task to wireframe because often the time you have worked as a BA yourself, so you'll know that it's very tricky to describe certain things with just words, right? If you don't have a picture, picture says 1,000 words. So if you don't have a picture, then you're gonna have like potentially dozens of pages of text. And then people, when they read it, they understand it completely differently to what you've written. Now, as we did the sketching exercise here, you see how quick it is to describe and explain things based on a picture. So often the time companies or BAs have resorted to wireframes as a means to communicate in their idea because they've learned that otherwise it's really painful to communicate things with just words. But BAs most of the time don't really understand human-computer interaction in a sense of how do people's psychologies interact with this, right? So yeah, maybe there's everything on the screen, right? But that thing isn't usable and isn't pleasurable to use. Okay, so they might capture functional requirements like let's just chuck everything on the screen, right? Because that's what we need. The businesses said we need it, but actually the users don't care. If the users don't care, you shouldn't really have it on the screen, or it should be later on in the flow, right? Somewhere else, in the footer, whatever. But like that goes back to that thing around focus on the most important, most valuable, most unique thing. Yeah. And then make that as simple as press a button and play. Like if you think about the Netflix UX, right? It doesn't even, for you to preview something, you just hover over and it starts previewing, right? Because like people are so lazy that they can't even be bothered to click, and then it's like you click and it pretty much plays, right? So that's kind of, that's a sort of UX design versus maybe some BA might have, chucked a whole load of stuff on there, that's kind of the business is thinking it's cool, but the users don't really care about. And if the users don't care about it, then it's not really going to make money. Like if it's not going to be used non-stop, it shouldn't be focus point of the experience. When we're doing like homepage, the things that should be focus point are things that are going to draw people in to sign up for the course. Once they sign up for the course, then the focus point is like, well, now I want to do my course, right? I don't really so much care about, oh, there is a community and so on. I might come along, okay? That's like a secondary focus. Yeah. So we need to be careful how we understand, right? So if there is a free trial, then the focus is, okay, get people into free trial, but then get them to sign up. That's a focus. But if they sign up, get them to complete the course. And if they complete the course, maybe they get them to turn up to a session or like a networking, or, think about signing up to another course, right? Or, ask us to help them find a job and so on, So that's kind of like where things become, different things become relevant for the user. So usually, like if I get a wireframe from a BA, it's like I look at it and I'm thinking it's potentially a good functional spec, okay, in a visual format, but most of the time I'll just completely like do it differently, and it's very important to keep an eye on not redoing what the BA has done, because that influences you. So for example, as soon as you see my pictures, like this is how the human mind works, right? I see your pictures and I'm like, I want to steal that. I like that more than I like my idea, right? So so I'm like, I'm riffing and I'm like, I'm gonna improve that. I'm gonna make that better. And maybe you're also thinking about that, right? So it's like you see my thing and you're like, yeah, but what if this, what if that? Like I can improve that, right? But that's good thing. That's why we want to sketch a lot, right? And not sort of judge, right? Some, like if you notice in this session, I'm not really saying this is good or this is bad, because everything is good at this point, right? As we start going more into wireframing and prototyping, then it will be time to go, I'm not really feeling this. It's not quite good enough, right? Or, you know, I don't see how we can build this. Maybe put that to the side. Let's build this. We've got content for this, or this is simple, right? And it's really important, because a lot of these ideas that we came up with is just a good thing to just get out of the head, because sometimes things look good in the mind. I'm thinking like, oh, I can gamify this, la la la, and then I sketch it, and I'm like, it's rubbish, right? Or it could be something that's quite rubbish, and I'm sketching it, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. I can add this, add that, and then it's like really cool. So you never really fully know until you kind of see it, and then it's easy to just kind of put that aside, and or just kind of look at somebody else's work and go, oh, I'm actually going to improve that or change that. I've got a different idea off the back of it. Okay, this is very, very, very important thing for you to remember, bear in mind. So this is why I asked you to have a dedicated sketchbook in which you can, wherever you are, whenever you are, if something comes to mind, just sketch it out. It doesn't cost anything. It's not going to do any harm. In fact, you should be like, as a designer, as a UX designer, you should be sketching like at least an hour a day. Okay, at least an hour a day. Even if it's just doodling, like if you're doing like mandalas, okay, that's good. Yeah, do mandala sketches. That's better than not doing anything. But
what's mandala sketches?
So like the Indian mandalas, the like a fractal art. No?
No.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to Google mandala. So
Nelson
I'm surprised
Mandela.
you don't. No, mandala. Huh? So I would show you these kind of things. Yeah. You know what they are?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
So those, even if you're doodling stuff like that, it's useful, right? Because what you're getting into is, look at this, there's easy printable ones, flower, right? So because usefulness of this is that it's getting you used to kind of, it's a structure. There's a very sort of strict structure to it, and really what this is effectively a wireframe, right? So as you sketch this, you start appreciating form, and you start appreciating correlation between things, and ratios, and how things look, and so on, and how you can decorate them, and so even that stuff is more useful than not doing anything, right? But obviously sketching interfaces and so on. But if you say like UX sketches, if you Google up sketches for UX, you'll see like how different people do them. There's no real standards, right? But sketching all the time, is very, very highly suggested thing. And so, what I can do in a typical month or so, is that I can go through an entire sketchbook in a month easily, if it's a paper sketchbook. And that's another reason why I use iPad, because if I was buying a sketchbook for every month, it would cost a lot of money. And an iPad, at least I buy an iPad, and like I can really use it for lots and lots of sketches. So get into the practice of sketching as much as possible. So if you set yourself an hour a day, that's very good.
So sketching in terms of like I can sketch with anything like pen, pencil, or there's any specific pen for that sketching?
So actually there's pros and cons of everything. So sometimes you get given like a really thick pen. Okay, so we say like sketch an interface in 30 seconds using this really thick pen. Why? Because then you can't really do details, right? You can't go and like sketching it like, oh, sharing social media, none of that stuff. It's just like you have to sketch some like broad ideas, right? But sometimes, you can have, I have it somewhere, I keep losing pens, but like, you can have those like really thin Muji pens, and then with those you're gonna like, you really want to kind of do it nice and neat. Like different pens give you sort of a different flavor, right? But there's no right or wrong. It's like you can wireframe or sketch with a piece of rock and on the pavement. Like as children we used to draw with rocks and pavement. Like that can be more freeing, okay, than sitting on the computer and trying to sketch in an actual wireframing tool, right? It's like you should never ideate in a wireframing tool. That's a rule. Never ideate in a wireframing tool, because it just constrains you. You want to kind of, oh, this is easy. That's like, and you create something that's just like really like it's either the same like something else, or it just basically just like kills your soul, right? And like there's a thing, that's why I like pencil, right? Even if it's Apple Pencil, there's something really cool about doing things, physically, and it kind of, you really sort of care when you're doing it with the hand, as opposed to clicking on the mouse and so on. It's like this is direct, and the mouse thing and manipulation is indirect. Okay, to think about this is very important. Direct manipulation of content versus mouse is indirect, because I have to touch something to then see a cursor on the screen, and it's like it dissociates you from the actual connection with the content. Yeah, and so so that's why it's important to sketch with hand always first. And so what I would like you to do is to now further explore these sketches, right? So start now thinking about a flow of pages, right? So, or not even so much flow of pages. You started sketching flow of pages, but think about flow of interactions, right? So let's say just this idea of Punja going from Facebook, clicks on the, finds a website, yeah, finds UX coach. What does she see? Maybe she just sees like an intro video or something like that, and then sees like sign up now. One click sign up, signs up, goes to what? Maybe views another video or something, I don't know, and then pays, right? Pays for a course, and then starts viewing a course, right? So start sort of sketching through that flow, and don't be afraid also to, you can draw a little sort of like contextual thing. So she might sign up through a mobile view, like while she's on the bus or something, right? It's like sees it and it's like, oh, I'm gonna buy that now, okay? And so on. So these things can be kind of disconnected. It doesn't all happen just in one go, because she might see the website on her laptop and says, oh, I'll go back to that at some point. So she goes and sees it again on the Facebook group and goes, oh, now I'm going to sign up. But she's like on the bus when she's signing up. So she signs up on the bus and then gets back to her like student room. And on the Friday evening, she starts watching the first free course you know, and asks a question, and then after that, you know, she gets her question answered. It's like, hello, Punja, thanks very much for asking this question. Here is the answer, blah, blah, blah. It's like, wow, this really works. There's like real humans behind this. You see, as I'm telling you this, I'm ideating, right? So she's like, wow, there's real humans answering my question. This is cool. I'm going to buy a course because I'm going to get coached by someone who's real. And then when she signs up, maybe we should send her some sort of welcome voice note or something like that. Right? So all these things are very important experiential things, right? Because think about that 7-star hotel, you know, thing. It's like really this kind of human to human interaction, even though we're not in the real room together. You know, you're in your room, I'm in my room. So this is the closest thing to being in the same room together without being actually in the same room. That's the value. And so it's like we need to show that that's really what happens on UX Coach platform, as opposed to, oh, you're just playing the stupid Udemy style videos, and it's like, I've got so many questions, but no one's going to answer them. You know, maybe I don't want them answered right now, but I want to be able to ask them and get an answer back, right? In a human way, in a way that really cares about my journey, okay, my journey. And like everybody's journey is unique, you know, even though, you know, the personas are, well, there's students who just don't know anything about UX versus, you know, juniors who kind of have a clue but don't really know it properly, and so on, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So for our next session, please, I'll create a round 3 so there's like round 1, round 2, round 3. Round 3 a folder on that Explore. So do as many sketches as you can, and keep uploading them as soon as you're done. And because I've got this hooked up, so it's on my Mac. It uploads as soon as you upload something, it'll give me a notification. So I'm going to keep looking at that, and I might also post up some comments on there, or, you know, we can have comments on the conversation on the Facebook Messenger. Okay. The other thing that I'm going to, while you're doing this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use your questions that you asked as prompts to create like sort of micro lessons, okay, as pieces of content for you, okay, as the target sort of customer at the moment. And so from that, I'm going to upload them to YouTube as lessons, okay, and I'm going to start maybe laying them out as a sort of a course, you know, feed, right, for you to be able to go through. And then what I'm going to look for is your feedback on that. You know, does that work? What's good? What's not good, etc. Okay. And so that way what we're really already doing is we're prototyping. In fact, this whole process here is that we're prototyping the system. Okay. It's just that you don't necessarily know consciously that that's what we're doing. But as you go through this course and this process, you will realize, oh, we actually started designing and building this all the way from start. And in fact, Jason even had the concept way back before we started. It's just kind of like, you know, it's a bit like Matrix, you know, it's like eventually you go, like, oh, I'm free. And it's like, I didn't even know I was free all the way along. Okay. Yeah. All right. So thanks very much. This has been a little bit longer session, but important to, you know, do this. And in fact, you know, we can do going forward with these interactive sessions. We can start by just sketching as like a 5-minute, you know, breaking the ice kind of exercise. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.